So I recently made a video about Darius Bazley, who was an NBA prospect who decided to skip college and instead be an intern for New Balance and is now going to the NBA draft. And the big question I had in that video was, will other people follow this path of skipping college and going somewhere else to get better before the NBA draft? And just recently, star point guard RJ Hampton announced that he will be skipping college to go overseas and play in the NBL for the New Zealand Breakers. Now, this is a much bigger deal than Darius Bazley because RJ Hampton was the number 5 prospect in the class of 2019. This is a guy who would be a real star in college and make a big difference for whatever school he ended up going to. He actually reclassified from the class of 2020 to the class of 2019 because he had an end goal of playing basketball and he didn't really care about going through the intermediate phases. He actually said about his reclassification, "I know that shocks everybody, but this is what's best for me. I want to be a pro. I've always wanted to be a pro. I want to play in the NBA and I want to play professionally to prepare for that." RJ Hampton was the projected 6th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, but that projection obviously came before his decision to play overseas, and so we definitely will see that change. But the real question here is, will other players follow this path? Will other players look to skip college and find other ways to play professionally before they make it to the NBA? Now, doing so definitely has benefits and it has its downsides. One of the biggest pros to playing in Australia is that Hampton will be getting paid. One source said that Hampton's contract is well beyond the G League's $125,000 salary, and he already has multiple offers from shoe companies, which will be finalized in the coming weeks. Another pro for playing in Australia is that players such as Bryce Cotton and Melo Trimble, who were stars in college, are currently playing there. So any doubts that scouts had about the competition that RJ Hampton would be up against can be put to rest, because those are definitely great players and they can both help RJ develop his game and give him enough competition. Now, the downside of not going to college is that he's not going to have the same support system that he would have had he chosen playing in school. His top 3 picks were Kansas, Memphis, and Texas Tech, and all 3 of these schools have great systems in place. They have great coaching staffs, and we've seen great NBA players come out of all 3 programs. So that's something that he's going to be missing out on. Whether or not you agree with RJ Hampton's decision to play overseas, time will really only tell whether or not this was the right decision. The reason that this is such a polarizing case is that RJ Hampton again was the number 5 prospect in the class of 2019, and he is projected to be a lottery pick in the NBA. I think that the NCAA definitely has their work cut out for them because they lost out on a real star in RJ Hampton. I definitely think a lot of potential college athletes are going to look to do the same thing. Now, obviously, RJ Hampton has a very, very high level of talent, and not every athlete going into college is going to have the option of playing in Australia. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other options for these athletes. We saw Darius Bazley take a very creative route when he chose to intern with New Balance, and in my last video, I talk about that and the new G League program that's offering players up to $125,000 and complete control of their marketing likeness. And this is obviously something that is catered towards players that want to make money right out of high school. Every individual case is different, and RJ Hampton actually articulates this very well.
I just wanted to kind of set the trend. I've never wanted to be normal, so I kind of wanted to set the trend for the younger guys coming up, to show them, hey, this is not the only route you can take. It's college basketball, and I feel like this is a much better route for me. Not for everybody, but I think it's a better route for me.
Now, RJ Hampton's dad actually played professional basketball, and his family is very well educated, so it is unlikely that he's making decisions for money. And he's actually stated in the past that playing in the NBA has always been his number 1 goal, and he has tried to prepare himself for that. He said about his decision, "My number 1 goal is to play in the NBA. I wanted to be an NBA player before I ever wanted to be a college player. This is about getting ready for the next level faster and more efficiently." So I definitely think that this decision was not about the money, more so about what would best prepare him for the NBA. But a lot of other athletes might have struggles with money and their families might have hardships, and so I think a lot of athletes are definitely going to look into these sorts of options before choosing to go to college. Again, we won't know if Hampton made the right decision or not until the next couple years, but definitely let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel, as there will be a lot more videos on the way.